Hello, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Designed by Tola01. Thank you so much for coming. In this video, I'm going to share with you on how I made this very beautiful dashiki dress with a love-shaped pocket design. So right here is my style inspiration, and here in the middle is my own recreation. Thank you so much to all my existing subscribers, and if you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please hit on the subscribe button and be a part of this family. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was to fold my fabric into two. I used 2.5 yards to make this dashiki dress. Okay, so fold your material, your fabric into two and then into four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out all my vertical measurements. So my bust line is 11 inches, then to my waist 17 inches, and then to my hip 26 inches. So you're going to be taking all these measurements from your shoulder down to your bust line, your waistline, and then your hip line. Okay, so after you're done with that, just try to make it into a straight line so that there you can have the bust line, the waistline, and then the hip line. Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to share with you 3 different methods on how I cut my dashiki to give me 3 different designs. So the first method I'm going to show you is the box dashiki. Okay, dashiki is a female dress for agbada. Okay, so now to make that box dashiki, the measurement you're going to need, measure from the center back, which is the center of your neck, down to wherever you want your sleeve to get to. So for me, mine is 19 inches, so I marked down that 19 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance, and then I'm going to repeat that measurement all through. On my bust line, I'm going to measure that 20 inches. On my waistline, 20 inches, which is 19 inches for my sleeve length, and then 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm going to measure that on my bust line, waistline, hip line. So now I'm just making it out into a straight line, and then I'm going to make it down to the hem of my fabric. So after you're done with that, measure out your neckline. For the wide neckline, I use 3 inches wideness. Okay, 3 inches wideness for the back, and then 1 inch depth for the back also, and then for the front I use 3 inches depth for the front neckline. So after you're done with this, the next thing is to mark out your slit. The slits are going to be in the front. So from the depth of my neckline, my front neckline came down by 7, or you can use 6 inches thereabout for the slits in front. So after then, I measured my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 8. On that I came down by 1 inch. So I'm just going to connect that mark to my neckline and then to the hem of my sleeve. So this line I have here is my shoulder slope. So from that shoulder slope, I'm going to be marking out my sleeve. My sleeve is not going to be fitted, obviously, so I used 10 inches for my sleeve, and then I added 2 inches allowance to it for the freeness, so that makes it 12. So now the next thing I'm going to do on my waistline, I'm just going to come in by 2 inches, and then I'm going to connect that to my sleeve. I'm just going to connect that to my sleeve, and I'm going to connect it straight down to the hem of my fabric, just like you see those dotted lines. So that is how to cut for a box dashiki. The next thing is just to cut this out and go back to your sewing machine to stitch. Now the second method I'm going to share with you, measure your bust circumference, divide it by 4, add 1 inch sewing allowance, okay, and then add 6 inches extra allowance for freeness. Repeat the same thing on your waistline. Divide your waist circumference divided by 4, add 1 inch sewing allowance, and add 6 inches for freeness. Repeat the same thing also for your hip, and then from your hip you're going to connect it down to the hem of your fabric. Okay, that is, measure your hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch sewing allowance and 6 inches freeness, and then connect that down to the hem of your sleeve. Okay, so the third method I'm going to show you, just come in on your waistline by 2 inches, okay, connect it to your sleeve like this, and then connect it also to your hip line. You're going to connect from that 2 inches that you came in on your waistline, you're going to connect it to your hip line in a curved shape, in a curved manner like this, okay, and then you're going to cut it out. So in this third method, you're going to have a slight shaping on just the waistline. Okay, your dashiki is going to give a shape on the waistline. All right, so it's not going to have that box. It's not going to have that box effect. It's going to have a little shape at the waistline. So I'm cut out your necklines, and then cut out your shoulder slope, and then the next thing to do is to open up the slits in front, and then cut out the sides of your material, of your fabric. Okay, and that is all for the cutting of a danchiki dress. Okay, now please remember to notch where your sleeve is going to get to. That is your sleeve length, very important. Now for the length of this dress, I used 40 inches, which is from my shoulder down to my knee length. That is 40 inches, and I added 3 inches extra allowance. I'm going to use half to join at the shoulders, and then I'm going to fold in 2.5 inches at the hem of my dress. Okay, now moving forward to the design in front, I folded this in. This is on fold. Now I marked 16 inches as the length, and then that is from my shoulder to my waistline, and I added 1 inch allowance to that, which makes for 17 inches. Okay, now for the back, I used 5 inches, and then I added 1 inch allowance for the length of the back. Now just place your front panel on that front and cut out your necklines, just as if you are cutting out the facing of a dress. Okay, so just cut it out and then open up the slit in front. Also, I'll advise that you leave just a little inches for that slit. Okay, because when you are sewing, it might just go down more than where you marked it to be. All right, so now for the back, place the back panel also on that material, and then trace this out also right from the shoulder down to the neckline. Now I made my love shaped pocket design. First off, I used some pattern papers to trace out to get my love shape first. Okay, so you can as well use some pattern papers to trace out this love shape until you get your desired love shape. So this now is my desired love shape that I want. So the next thing I'm just going to do is to transfer and make this into a bigger size, which is going to fit in for my pocket. Okay, if you have trouble doing this, you can as well use your curved rulers to get this done. Okay, the main thing is to get that love shape. All right, so just open it up in front, like in the middle, and voila, this is my love shaped pocket. All right guys, so now I have 2 pockets there, so I'm just going to cut out the second pocket, and these are my love shaped pockets. All right, so and this is what I have. Very, very beautiful. Now moving on, for the front, I added an interface to it, and I folded in 1/2 inch allowance into it, and then to get that arrow edged pointing effect, so just fold in by like 3 to 3.5 inches, depending on how much of that pointing effect you want. Okay, and now I've already taped it, and the distance between the 2 tapings is 2.5 inches. To make the tapes, I cut out 1.5 inches of my fabric, and I folded it into a bias form, just like this. Like, just fold it in the bias form, like a bias tape folding. Okay, fold it like that, and then use it for the front design. Now for the love shape pocket, I've gone ahead to use my bias tape to trace out the edges and to turn the edges of the love shaped pocket. Now I'm just going to place these designs on my main fabric, like you see that I'm doing in the video. All right, now for the pockets, place them as you so desire. All right, place them on your fabric as you so desire. Okay, now for me, from the center point of my fabric to where my pocket is 2.5 inches. That is the distance between the center point of my fabric to my pocket is 2.5 inches, which means that the distance between the 2 pockets is 5 inches. So you can just go on to, do it how you like it. Just place the pockets wherever you like it on your fabric, and do not forget to secure this down with your pins so that it doesn't move about when you are actually stitching down with your machine. Okay, so place your pocket on your desired wherever you want it to be. Now secure it down with your pins, and also you're going to be turning out that neckline. You're going to be turning out this design in front. You're going to be turning it out with the main fabric neckline. Okay, so now I'm gonna to secure my pocket with my machine, and you can see that I've turned out the main neckline of my fabric. I've turned it out with this front design. Okay, then I'm just going to go over to give it a good press, and then I'm going to hem my sleeve by just 1 inch. After I've hemmed my sleeve by 1 inch, I'm going to close up the sides by 1 inch or so. Then after I'm done with that, now I'm going to come down to the hem of the dress, and I'm going to fold in by 2.5 inches. That is how I'm going to hem my dress, by 2.5 inches. And that is how simple and basic it is to make this dashiki gown. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed my teaching. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Till I see you in my next video, have a great day and bye. And if you want to know how I made my headband, I'm going to put the link in the description box below.